So this is my star tracker. I can't claim the design. It's an old design. It's a very good design, but I've had to make a few modifications because it's me. So basically how it works is this points to north up this hinge. You align that with true north and then basically track the stars as they pan. If you think behind us the stars are moving as we're looking at the camera, 2.5 degrees in the sky every minute. So if you can keep up with that, then you can take a longer exposure and get better detail, and it stops the stars turning into little streaks and little lines and creating trails. So it's not that complicated really, but it needed a bit of engineering. So yeah, so to use it I would set it up through the eyepiece, which it's just a steel tube that runs parallel with the hinge, and I've just put an eyepiece from an old pair of binoculars on. So yeah, that works quite well. Yeah, so I would set it up and then adjust the camera to the target wherever I want to shoot, find the thing I want to shoot, and then set it up rolling. So we'll go around the back and have a look. So I've built this from stuff I've had lying around really. I've got a lighting tripod that's now full of sand, which is pretty cool and heavy. Some old floorboards. I chose them because they're going to be more thermally stable. They're not going to expand too much. A Tupperware to put the circuitry and the switch gear in. I've got an on-off switch. I've got a speed control. And I've got a reverse. So that'll allow me to set it up and be able to scan the horizon for time lapses, and I'll be able to sweep in one direction and I'll be able to sweep in the other direction, which will be pretty cool just by setting it up horizontally. So I've got a little motor here which is half an RPM. Most people put in 1 RPM, but I wanted to buy myself some headroom with a speed controller so that'd have a little bit more resolution, so it'd be easier to make fine adjustments, and that's worked out really well. It'll run off of 9 volts, a 9-volt battery, 5-volt power pack, or as it's set up at the moment, 12 volts, which will run out of my car cigarette lighter, which is quite cool. So yeah, it's a long threaded stud M6, and I use M6 because it's got a pitch of 1mm, so every revolution it's moved a millimeter, so that could help me with the maths to work out how far it needed to be from the hinge. And then it made it easier to control as well. So yeah, so I decided to get some decent hinges. These have got ball bearings, so they're nice and smooth and they've got no backlash, because this has to be as smooth as possible with no shake and no rattle. So yeah, ideal. So in here you can see the gears that transfer the output from the motor through the stub shaft and onto the, well, what I would call the bearing shaft really, which is threaded shaft. That this gear's got an internal thread, so as it turns it pushes the thread up and out, therefore moving it about its hinge. So it's really not that complicated, and I can just vary the speed that it does it in the direction, backwards and forwards, easy peasy. So I put a big rubber band on it. That keeps this panel squeezed down and this gear engaged with the other gears when it's pushing away. I've put a little washer in there just to act as a bearing to stop this gear binding against the surface of the floorboard. Yeah, that works really well. Happy with that. So I need some sort of control and measurement so I can work out what speed it's running at, and the best way I can do that is just to find out what the volts are coming out of the speed controller going into the motor, and make a note what voltage it is that works for what pan. So I think at the moment my star tracking is working out around about 9.4 volts. So if I put it to 9.4 volts, it will track the stars. So then if I want to track the sun, it will be moving faster, so I'll find out what voltage it is and I'll be able to set it up and just track the sun. So it's just a good way of measuring it. And I'm really looking forward to Milky Way season. I'll get some long exposures, get some really deep colours, can't wait. So I've done some testing with it, and I've had some good results. It needed some fine tuning and probably still a little bit more, I'm guessing. But I got some good results. I'm not going to share them because I definitely know I can do some better. So yeah, watch this space. That's my star tracker.